New York and on the new Hot 97 app. Ebro in the Morning on Hot 97.
Ebro in the Morning, the beautiful Laura. Yo, Mad Jordans.
It's Jordan Wednesday, apparently.
There's a new Jordan came out or something?
Yeah, those came out.
These? Laura up on it quick. Sneaker plug. Anyway, Frederick Joseph, ladies and gentlemen, the creator of the Black Panther Challenge. What is it? The most successful, what is it?
Yes.
The most
Talking
successful
to the mic, brother.
GoFundMe?
Yeah, it's the largest GoFundMe
Ever.
Yeah, ever. Yeah. Largest GoFundMe
Yo.
ever. 40,000 plus kids, celebrities around the country, 48 countries, South Africa,
Wow.
Ghana,
Wow.
Germany.
Wow, I didn't know. Wow.
Yeah, so on and so forth. Yeah.
So wait, so you're from?
I'm from Yonkers
So
originally.
before we get into the moment you just hashtag Black Panther Challenge and went crazy.
Yeah.
I literally learned about this, last week?
Yes.
And had to give myself the biggest congratulations. I played myself because I literally was like, yo, some guy's doing the Black Panther Challenge. Let's have him up. This is cool. Then I kept scrolling. I was like, yo, he raised $400,000. Wait, Ava DuVernay. Wait. Yo, I've been on Black Panther mode for what, months, weeks?
Months.
So out the loop, missed it, played myself.
Not
and now
even.
you're at 700,000?
Yeah, just about 700,000. You know, I'm not going to say what we're reaching for, but the more money, the more kids, the better. You know, a lot of people felt as though the movie came out and it's over. I'm like, nah, the movie came out, and that reaffirmed for me. That like got me. I saw the film. I was like, oh yeah, nah, everybody has to see this.
And are you, what's your background ethnically?
I am Kenyan and Cuban.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm born here in America.
Yeah. Born in America, born in Yonkers, St. John's, Riverside.
And have you ever been back to Africa? You been to Cuba?
Yeah, a few times. I've been to Africa a few times. You know, the Kenyans, I wear my band, always on deck. Cuba, I haven't been yet, though, and I'm hoping to get there soon before Trump blows it.
How did you like the film as an African?
I mean, I didn't just like the film. The film was everything I wanted, right? The film was more than I expected. You know, even the last line, I don't want to give out spoilers, but if you ever seen
Michael B. Jordan's line, yeah.
Michael B. Jordan's line, man. Listen, I'm a Malcolm X guy, so you know that realm of that's it was everything.
Well, yeah, he has a line that speaks very much to slavery and just the history of black people in America that kind of hits you out of nowhere. Like I found it so interesting and awesome. That line, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But it's so clear. It's like it may be
Right.
the clearest political message that's sent, or a social, whatever message it is, maybe the clearest message in the film.
Well, and you know, for the audience, I think it's kind of been on social media, so I don't know if we're spoiling anything, but the line is basically Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, Michael Jordan, they never said this.
No, he ain't never said this. Amazing sneakers, though. Choosing death over bondage.
Yeah.
And the notion that, you know, there are our ancestors, people on slave ships that opted to die versus living a life in bondage, being thrown over into the ocean from ships instead of living in bondage was more brave.
Yeah, I mean,
and more impactful and more meaningful.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's deep because, you know, for a lot of us, you know, in this room and, you know, in this city, in this country, so on and so forth, on a daily basis, even if it's not a direct, you know, act of racism, we experience microaggressions, you know. I'm sure even now, Rosenberg, you being aligned with the culture, you know, for so long. you
they
probably,
come from me.
He gets micro and macro aggression.
I can
he
imagine.
gets it all.
I really do. And
Some days he's white, some days he's just a G, some days he's an N-word lover. Like, I mean,
some days I get it from black people. It's literally every group you can imagine. It's wonderful.
Yeah, that must be fun.
You know, although I did have a realization about it the other day. There is this is I'm gonna go a little deep, but I mean you're the right guy for us to have this conversation with. I realize that the shit that I get sometimes from black people, which is definitely more hurtful than getting it from racist white people, is a necessary feeling to have if you really want to support the cause. Because in order to really support the cause, when I go out in society, I will never experience what it is to be a black person in America. Never. I could talk shit all day, and when the cops come down the street, I'm good. That'll always be the case. The only way I can ever even get a feeling that makes me truly relate is when I feel there's a black person out there who sees me and doesn't hear my message and is just like, you're a culture vulture piece of shit. And I'm like, oh, wow. In this moment, though it's not the same because it's just online in this pocket, I get the feeling of totally unfair judgment and how fucking awful it feels. And I'm like, wow, well, that's cool. Now it makes me more apt to want to participate because that's a horrible, shitty feeling. And I can't imagine having to experience it blindly in the real world when you're at a restaurant having dinner or shopping at Saks Fifth Avenue. That make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, and then you got to also take in the concept of like add that, and then you might also be killed, right? You know, like,
well,
so
and your likelihood of getting a job is lower, and your rate that you're going to get paid is lower. There's a lot of other things.
Not being able to move into certain neighborhoods.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, it's funny even with this, right? I've had certain outlets who are like, you know, media outlets that are like, oh, like they've touted me as being a marketing professional, and thus I've used all the money I paid for business school and this and third to think through and strategically move the pieces on this. But a lot of other media outlets have been like, oh, this guy was lucky at Center. I'm like, well, if I wasn't black, would I be lucky to have had this happen? Like, why is it that you're just saying like, oh yeah, and you know, I mean, and shout out to all the influencers who jumped in, but like, this was very grassroots. This was my team, my friends who really pushed this, right?
So take me to that moment.
Yeah.
The movie's about to come out, or when did it start? How long ago did this start?
We started in early January, but I knew that I wanted to do it honestly from like when I saw the first trailer.
Got it.
You know,
and you're a Marvel fan, or?
Yeah, I'm a huge Marvel head.
Marvel.
You know? I'm a huge Marvel head. I'm looking for that Infinity War. You know,
Yeah.
I'm waiting
So
for that.
you knew you wanted to do this. You waited till January, and then what happened?
You know, as soon as they started ramping up the marketing, then marketing and me said, you know, this is the perfect time to leverage what they're doing and the traction that they're getting to try to start this grassroots movement. So I started putting pieces in place, and I said, all right, we're going to try to raise 10K. And I talked to my friends, can we put in our own money so in case we don't make it, we still have the 10K? So from jump, we were always going to have the money for the kids.
Just from your circle.
Yeah, just from my circle. We were going to be broke for a minute, but, you know, we were going to always have the money for them. But then I started speaking to influencers just on the side. And I think early on, The Root, actually, The Root, and shout out to Brianna Edwards at The Root, they were the first people to cover it. And from there, Chelsea Clinton jumped in. And the second you get like a Clinton.
Chelsea Clinton, the fact that Chelsea Clinton follows The Root is very interesting. I want to.
That's pretty
Have you ever been to theroot.com? Chelsea Clinton following The Root needs to be unpacked. I need to understand more about what she's reading because that's amazing.
You want to hear something, in all honesty, I know a lot of people, I can't speak to Hillary, but I can speak to, in terms of Chelsea, the most helpful influencer of any person that's been a part of this Black Panther challenge. Like,
really?
No joke. Her,
How so?
and then later on, DeRay, the two of them. But and early on, a few other people. But in terms of like magnitude, and you said how so?
Yeah.
I mean, Chelsea has like been actually letting me DM her like, hey, can you share this? Hey, can you share that? She's like, reach out to this person. There was one day I had access to something in the morning. She's like, hey, I'm going out with my kids, but I'll put it up later. And I'm like, this is Chelsea Clinton. She's not gonna remember to put it up. Maybe I'll remind her. I got home from the gym and it was up. She was like, yeah, I told you I was gonna get it up. Like, she's like, yeah, I'm focused. I'm aligned. You know, like
That's dope. That's real dope.
it says a lot.
It also says a little bit, even though we know the Clintons have a checkered past in some areas, it also lets you know that at the core as actual human beings, the way they parented their daughter was one that I think she honestly does care about.
Listen,
stuff like
at
that.
this point, if you don't understand that being a lifetime politician at that level has some
is going to lead
controversial elements to it and lead you in ways that probably are going to rub people the wrong way, then congratulations, you played yourself because politics is a crazy space.
I mean that's facts. You know, not that we're here to talk about that, but it's even like with the Oprah thing. You know, a lot of people are mad about. I don't know if y'all saw Oprah's donation yesterday and
500,000.
Yeah, and you know, you got people saying online that she wasn't giving money to black people when we were in the streets of San Third, right?
Yeah.
And I see both sides of the coin. So I'm like, yeah, I feel that. But then in the same instance, just me being in this little space, I got verified a few days ago, right? Shout out to Twitter. But but I got verified a few days ago. The things I can say and the things I can do are different now. I got to move in a different way because I'm no longer just within the black community. And a lot of people who donated are from, like I said, around the world. So you got to move a certain way to keep people aligned and invested in what you're doing for the community. Yeah. So
Frederick, so you guys started marketing the hashtag, you and your friends. It picked up, Chelsea Clinton, these individuals. At this point right now today, you're continuing to raise money. How frequently are you taking kids, or like how does it work? Like if somebody wants to take a bunch of kids to the movie, do they get to just reach out to you and say, hey, I want to take some kids to the movie? Like what happens here?
No, and a lot of people have been doing that, and that's not the way it works. You can't just DM me like, here's 50 kids. But so what we did was I had 2 viewings. One of them was with Jimmy Jazz. Once again, shout out to Ricardo and them. So the basic premise is like this. There's pockets of campaigns that are being able to be. So let's say y'all wanted to make a Hot 97 campaign right now. You could do that. GoFundMe would support, push that, this and that, third, right? But GoFundMe and myself are vetting all the campaigns. Who are you taking? When is this happening? Where's the money going to? But then we did like a phase 2. So basically people could do general donations now, because there's a lot of campaigns that have been created that they don't have the money. Like, they're not making any money. So the general donations are being given to the campaigns that don't have funds right now. So basically I'm just at this point more of a figurehead to get individuals to be able to set up their campaigns, and then monitoring with GoFundMe where you guys taking the kids.
But you're very involved, because I saw you in the pictures. You're present there to make sure like you're a face for these kids.
Yeah, so that's important for me, because I want to make sure that people are doing the right thing. So someone invited me to a showing in Detroit. I'm gonna go to that. There's a showing in LA that I'm gonna try to pull up to. There's a show, because I want to make sure that because it's my brainchild, but it's my baby more than anything, right? And I want to make sure we're doing the right things for the kids. So I'm going to go to as many shows as possible. I know Howard just did one. I'm going to try to get to theirs.
So where does it go now? Because obviously my interest in this film, love Marvel, right? Yeah. Obviously love how Ryan Coogler tied things that are near and dear to my heart around black people in America, the African diaspora, Pan-Africanism, African culture, and even black neighborhoods, right? And the Bay Area, all tied into the film, right? Because I'm from the Bay. But now it becomes another discussion for me, and to watch how, now what do people do with this bridge in some ways that's been created? This kind of like, hey, ladies and gentlemen, there is a place with beautiful culture that is of you, that is there for you to go experience, and or will African leadership on the continent, which that's politicians, and some of those people ain't, according to what we understand about them, ain't necessarily the most savory, nice individuals. Is that going to be bridge is going to be built now for this sharing of culture?
Yeah. I'm happy you asked that. Good segue, Ebro. But so basically, that's been my thought the whole time. Like I've told many people, I don't know Marvel, I don't know them, I don't know that man, I don't know Disney, I don't know none of them. My thing is for the community. So what I did was I partnered with DeRay. We have a website out right now, blackpantherchallenge.org, where you can see where the campaigns are. But more important than that, we have readings, learning worksheets, we're putting up videos, things like that about Afrofuturism, about,
and what is that term, Afrofuturism?
So Afrofuturism, is a nuanced term. It essentially is this thought of what Africa or nations in Africa can be and could have been without
colonialism.
Exactly. Without being colonized. Excuse me. So that's what we see in Wakanda, right? But a lot of people don't know how to unpack and process that. Like, what do you mean there's a nation that was never colonized, and thus it's
called Ethiopia, or
exactly,
different places like that.
But there are places like it, and these are some of the most beautiful places in the world. So we have readings right now about that. One of the readings is interesting. It's actually about Frankenstein, and like just like in comic lore, like the racism behind Frankenstein, what Frankenstein was supposed to be based on, and this and that third, right? But besides that, that's what we're doing with the Black Panther Challenge. So if you have children, young people who are interested, we want them to get involved in that. I actually met one of the Dora Milaje on Monday, so I'm doing. I'm trying to work with Diddy's school, Capital Prep, to get her to go there and speak to the young girls about empowerment.
Shout out to
right?
Dr. Perry and everybody up there.
Yeah, facts. Yeah. But then on a bigger level, right? To me, the conversation needs to pivot from just being about the film to being about access. So from my end, I've created an agency called We Have Stories. So what We Have Stories is doing, we're providing all of our services for free: marketing, creative, and fundraising for underrepresented groups, people of color, women, LGBTQ community. So if you're a storyteller, somebody who's working in social justice, we're trying to amplify your work completely for free. So
that's amazing.
that's what I think that we need to do as a community, to say, like, we have this Wakandan pride right now, but we have Wakanda all around us. We just need to hone it, you know?
What do you say to people who go, Wakanda's not real, the movie's not real, and what are you talking about? Why?
I mean, Wakanda is real. Wakanda is what got the Black Panther challenge started. You know what I mean? Wakanda is what brought me here, what made y'all want to bring me in. Wakanda is what got Jimmy Jazz involved in New Balance, so on and so forth. Wakanda is within us, right? And like I said, I tell everybody, if you haven't been to Africa, please go to Africa, right? That is Wakanda. That, like, what you saw is there.
Instead of like the stereotypical pictures of like kids with flies, that everybody has this crazy idea that that's all it is.
Precisely, right? I mean, I sat in Nairobi in May last year and just drank wine and talked about sub-Saharan slave trade for hours with people in Africa. Do you know what that did to me as a person?
Do you and Ebro, I don't want to get into your business. I don't know if you guys find each other attractive, but would you guys consider being together?
Why is that?
Because there's nothing you'd rather do.
Absolutely.
The two of you could take a trip together. Go to Nairobi. Watch the mating of the wildebeest.
Wait, well, Nairobi's what? How many hours from the beach?
Nairobi from Mombasa?
Yeah.
You're looking at around 5 hours.
5 hours.
Yeah,
So
Yo, it's a quick weekend getaway.
Mombasa is on the beach. A lot of people don't know. You can go to Eastern African resorts
Yup.
on an amazing beach in Kenya.
I know. Kenya's very high on my list of places to get to.
Oh, we out. We all out. I'm saying, like, I'm going this summer. So if y'all want to do a hot,
You're going back.
I'm going back every year.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, I want to do a Hot 97 trip
If
to
y'all want
Kenya.
to do a Hot 97
Yes.
trip, what I
The
mean, I
Black
was just,
Panther Challenge should become tourism.
and we should.
And it should become taking kids, instead of taking kids to movies, it's taking kids to either work or study in Africa for weeks or summers or something.
It should be like birthright, you know, where
Yeah.
maybe, I mean, y'all have the influence, y'all have, you know, let me challenge y'all. Y'all set it up, right? Maybe you find 10 kids around the country who are doing great things. I know a few who are doing phenomenal things that are going to change the world, you know, and they should see Africa. And you just do a Hot 97
What do we
trip.
do? How do I do it?
I mean,
And it'll
we just,
start tomorrow.
Are you saying you would help raise the money?
yeah, let's work together.
Like, because we could help find the people and set up the infrastructure and promote it.
Yes.
But we would need I think where we need the help is the business infrastructure. Because you've obviously shown you're capable of
And you
doing
can
that.
vet
That's what I
it.
do. Exactly.
You can vet the organizations.
Exactly. And you just get 10 leaders, like 10 young youth leaders, right? They're going to be in their, who maybe go into their senior year, something like that. Like, give them an opportunity, because that's what I mean, you're familiar with Birthright, I imagine, right?
Of course, yeah.
Exactly. So, like, I work with a lot of Jewish people, and I've tried to adapt some of that. What they do with Birthright, I think that's important. You get maybe Black and Hispanic children, right, and bring them to Africa. Let them see this is what you can come back and bring to your communities, and just do it maybe on a yearly basis.
But
Like,
we've talked about that. Experiences like that completely change a child.
Bro,
Like,
I've
it changed
talked-
me.
I wanted to have a conversation about us starting out, but like Africa's being the next step. Man, I would like to start with a program where we take kids from the 5 boroughs and bring them up to literally a country house during the summer and just see where there's an animal and wildlife. You know what I'm saying? Just seeing an environment even beyond yourself. Africa's amazing. That would be like a goal, of course, an ultimate goal. But kids aren't even seeing beyond
No.
their block.
No.
It's very hard to see.
No.
I mean, I agree with that. But I, you know, working in the core space, I already know there's a lot of people who do that. This is something that nobody does. I mean, I'm a big picture kind of person. I think
Right.
This moves the needle, right? And that's why I said specifically, it's not just any kids. You get the kids who are some of our best and brightest, who are gonna be leaders.
Can I make
right?
your argument on that against that though?
Yeah,
this is
go
why I
ahead.
guess it didn't speak to me instantly the same way,
Yeah,
even though
yeah,
it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Is that those kids are already the best and brightest. I'm talking about that should be done. That absolutely
Yeah.
should be done. And then there also should be another program for kids who we don't even know if they're the best and brightest yet. They may have an opportunity to be the best and brightest, but they're yet to get to see anything. But at the same time, when you're talking about a trip to Africa and the level it would take to get there and how expensive it is, you have to have a vetting process to make sure you're getting kids to go there who really earn that opportunity.
I mean, for sure. I mean, look.
I think we're both.
that's
These are
why
both.
I think it also depends on how much resources we're able to come together.
Right. These are both two separate great
Yeah,
opportunities.
they're two separate opportunities, but I think people think like I'm not racked up. You know what I mean? Africa. I just said to somebody the other day. It doesn't cost that much. Like, you know, honestly,
Bro, you got to be somewhat racked up. If you plan on going to Nairobi, it will be every year.
bro. I mean, I'm not.
How much did trip to Nairobi cost?
The total for my trip last year ended up being like $1,600.
Wow, that's a pretty good
People
price.
spend that to go to DR and Wild Out.
It's
By
true.
the way, that's a great. You're absolutely right about that.
Like-
I did not think the number you were going to say was
I thought it was
$1,600.
like $6,000.
Nah,
Me too.
No,
The second you
not
said
at all.
6, I went,
But
$6
that's
grand's a lot of money.
But that's why people need to be re-engineered. Like the round trip ticket, right, is around $900. And I bought I usually buy mine real late because whatever. When you get there, hotels like Airbnb hotels, especially if you do like a big Airbnb thing with people, whatever, you looking at like $70 a night. Like you can
But
stay
it's
for a week
true.
and a half. Blah,
That's
blah, blah.
crazy.
It's so
And
true.
eating is cheap.
Yeah, it's
Like-
true, and especially if you connect with organizations in Africa that are willing to welcome you.
Exactly, and there's a hunger in nations in Africa. I've been to Ghana, you know, I've been to Algeria, I've been to Morocco, so on and so forth. There's a hunger to have us there. They're like, y'all don't be coming back.
Right.
Like a lot
You
of
come
like,
back,
y'all don't be
like, right, we
coming
want you back.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's part of and one of the great things about the film Black Panther, and I'm glad you started the Black Panther Challenge, is I just feel like there's all. I'm trying to figure out a great analogy, but it's like you have African people going, well, y'all don't come back, and they look at us like we got money.
Like everyone's got money.
You live in America. Why wouldn't you be able to get on a flight and come back to Africa, right? In their mind.
Right.
In a lot of black Americans' mind, it's like, but y'all don't like us. Y'all, I've heard that y'all don't like us, and Africans that, you know, or Africans that migrate here to or immigrate here to America treat us a certain way. So that must be how all Africans are in Africa. And I got news for you. If you're from Africa and you are either educated enough, wealthy enough, or have enough access to literally move to America, you're not like most Africans on the continent of Africa. Most Africans ain't able to just move to America. I don't know if you guys have seen the immigration laws. It's even tougher now to get a visa, right? You know what I'm saying? So there's a disconnect in communication, and that's what I think was one of the most powerful things about this film is literally just being able to have a conversation about going back to the continent where all black folks, all people in general, but specifically, more recently, all black people come from.
I mean, that's why. I mean, look, you know, we can kick that horse. I'm all about action. Y'all know where to find me.
Yeah,
if y'all
let's
wanna
go.
do something.
No, we doing it.
You know, even with I know Nessa's up here, right?
Yeah.
You know, even with Cap. You know, here's the thing, right? People want to do stuff. There's an energy. Like I said the other day, I was like, listen, I would work for Know Your Rights for free. I mean, I'll do the marketing for them. I'll jump in and help them with marketing direction for free. So shout outs to them. You let them know I said that. Like that's serious,
I will make
right?
all them connections.
But the thing is like this. There's groups and pockets of people. I can think of a kid right now, like to your point, like, oh yeah, they're the best and brightest, but a lot of our best and brightest in the black community don't necessarily have opportunities. I will tell you this, I grew up struggling. I think that I was maybe one of our decent ones, right? I didn't travel for the first time out the country till I was like a man. You know, and that would have changed me. My views, I just stopped being so toxic about my views on Africa like 5 years ago. You know what I mean? Because like even though I was one of the brightest and went to all these schools and stuff like that, I was still, you know, struggling to pay my phone bill, let alone
Just had this conversation with Nipsey Hussle. When you're struggling with the simple things, it's very hard to have a worldview.
Precisely.
Can't have a worldview when you don't have anything.
Exactly. And I want our kids to have our leaders, our future leaders, to have that worldview a bit before they start going into really taking leadership roles. Because there's cats who are, you know, black, Hispanic, just people of color, so on and so forth, at Goldman, at Barclays, at this and third. And I'm like, you know, not all skin folk are kinfolk, man. You know, you don't see what I see, but it's not always their fault. They never had the option. They're like,
course.
oh, well, yeah. But I want to start providing that. I mean, there's a girl right now, Taylor Richardson. She just raised $20,000 for girls to go see A Wrinkle in Time. She's 14 down in Jacksonville. And I already know, like, I don't know her family situation, but I don't think she's going to Africa. But I'm like, and I can't just put you up to go to Africa. But Taylor's 14. She needs to see Africa before she goes to college because she's going to be a leader on her campus. You know, I don't want Taylor to wait till she's 30. you know?
That makes sense.
Frederick Joseph, ladies and gentlemen. You guys will be hearing more about the convo we just had about trips to Africa, I'm sure. BlackPanther.org, BlackPantherChallenge.org.
Yep.
And nobody from Marvel, nobody from nowhere from the movie has connected
Disney,
with you?
anyone?
Nah.
But they're happy to collect the money though. You got them how much money to see this movie?
We had almost 700,000. I guess that doesn't include like what celebrities have done, like Octavia Spencer and everybody just buying out theaters for
Right,
it.
right.
So,
But you guys alone 700,000.
So
yeah.
we'll unpack that at another time to try to figure out a way to get that money to come back.
Because that should be appreciated and reciprocated in some way.
And help.
I can't speak on that, man.
Yeah, of course not.
You know?
But the idea would be
Yeah.
like, you just put $700,000 and created more marketing and awareness for a film that doesn't have an obligation to help kids now go see Africa, but it would be nice to figure out ways to make that happen.
I will say, and I hope y'all can include this, shout outs to Chadwick though, because I know Chadwick has shouted me out on a bunch of things. He shouted me out on radio. He just put up a video on Twitter and Instagram. But yet still, Marvel, Disney as entities, I can't get
They haven't.
But Chadwick definitely has blessed up many times.
Oh, that's dope. So, yeah, man, that's dope, man. Listen, man, it was a pleasure meeting you.
My
Let's
pleasure.
continue these conversations,
Yeah.
man. Thank you very much.
All right.